Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you know, I am Likith. Today I'll be explaining a topic from the subject computer networks. The topic is the OSI reference model. So let's get on with the introduction. This model is based on a proposal developed by the International Standards Organization, which is in short form ISO, as a first step toward international standardization of the protocols used in the various layers. The model is called the ISO OSI, that is Open System Interconnection Reference Model, because it deals with connecting open systems, that is, systems that are open for communication with the other. The OSI model has 7 layers. Before moving on to the 7 layers, let's understand how we arrived at these 7 layers. The principles that were applied to arrive at these 7 layers are as follows. First, a layer should be created where a different level of abstraction is needed, where a different kind of function to be performed is needed. That is, each layer should perform a well-defined function, which is it should not perform the same task as the layer before it. It should perform something which is unique. Then, the function of each layer should be chosen with an eye toward defining internationally standardized protocol. Then the fourth one being the layer boundaries should be chosen to minimize the information flow across the interfaces. The number of layers should be large enough that distinct functions need not be thrown together in the same layer out of necessity and small enough that the architecture does not become unwieldy. So what this means is there should be a maximum number of layers. The layers should be large enough that each layer has some specific functions, unique one, and no two unique functions need to be combined in one. And it should not be small enough as well that the architecture does not become unwieldy. So this is the OSI reference model diagram. So in this diagram, we have two hosts, that is host A and host B. Each having its own physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, as well as the application layer. Between each layer, there is an interface, and each layer is marked by layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 as well. So we have 7 layers. Then we have the name of the units exchange. Like for physical, we have physical layers, we have bit. For data link layer, we have frames. For network layer, we have packets. Example. Then the network layer to network layer communication. Those protocols are internal subnet protocols, and the physical layer protocol, data link layer protocol, network link layer protocol. These are all internal subnet protocol. Together they form the communication subnet boundary. So these are the things that to be known of the OSI reference model. So let me start with explaining the physical layer. So the physical layer is concerned with transmitting raw bits over a communication channel. So the main design issues have to do with making sure that when one side sends a 1 bit, it is received by the other side as 1 bit, not as a 0 bit. If one side is sending a 0 bit, then it is received at the other end as 0 itself, not as 1. So that is the main design issue with the physical layer, and it is concerned with transmitting these data through the communication channel. Then we have the data link layer. So the data link layer is responsible for the node to node delivery of the message. So what does the data link layer do is the main function of this layer is to make sure that the data transfer is error free from one node to another over the physical layer. So it makes sure that there is no error when the data is transferred from one layer to another through the physical layer. So when a packet arrives in a network, it is the responsibility of the data link layer to transmit it to the host using its MAC address. Then we have the network layer. So the network layer works for the transmission of data from one host to the other, located in different networks. So the what the network layer do is responsible for is transmission of data for the systems which are separated, okay, which are located at that is different networks. It also takes care of packet routing, that is selection of the shortest path to transmit the packet from the number of routes available. So, as you know, there will be a number of routes to reach a destination. But what does the network layer do? Is it chooses the shortest path to reach the destination. That is, it selects selection of the shortest path to transmit the packet to the from one host to another. And the sender and receiver's IP addresses are placed in the header by the network layer. Okay, we have the transport layer, which comes in between all these layers. So it is the fourth layer of our OSI reference model. So the transport layer provides services to the application layer and takes services from the network layer. The data in the transport layer is referred to as what? Segments. So it is responsible for the end-to-end delivery of the complete message. So what the transport layer is responsible for is end-to-end delivery. So whatever message is taken from the one layer is transmitted entirely to the other host. So that is the responsibility of the transport layer. And the data within the transport layer is referred to as segments. So the transport layer also provides the acknowledgement of the successful data transmission and retransmits the data if an error is found. And what the transport layer, what does it do is it acknowledges if it receives the data successfully, then it sends an acknowledgement to the and if there is an error, it retransmits the data. So at the sender side, the transport layer receives the formatted data from the upper layers, performs what segmentation, that is breaking it down, and also implements flow and error control to ensure proper data transmission. It also adds source and destination port numbers in its header and forwards the segmented data to the network layer. Then we have the session layer. The session layer allows users on different machines to establish sessions between them. So you may wonder what is sessions. So these sessions offer various services including dialog control, that is keeping track of whose turn it is to transmit. It is not like every layer can transmit at the same time. So it is the job of the dialog control to keep track of whose turn it is to transmit. And token management. What does token management mean? It means preventing two parties from attempting the same critical operation at the same time. It prevents them from doing the same from asking like I have to do the same operation. So it uh, does not allow them to do it. And synchronization. Check checkpointing long transmissions to allow them to continue from where they were after a crash. Then we have the presentation layer. The presentation layer is concerned with the syntax and semantics of the information transmitted. In order to make it possible for computers with different data representations to communicate, the data structures to be exchanged can be defined in an abstract way, along with a standard encoding to be used on the wire. The presentation layer manages these abstract data structures and allows higher level data structures, example banking records, to be defined and exchanged. Then last but not the least, the application layer. The application layer contains a variety of protocols that are commonly needed by the users. One widely used application protocol, as we all know, is HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the basis for the World Wide Web. When a browser wants a web page, what does it do is it sends the name of the page it wants to the server using the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Then what does the server do is it sends the page back. It sends the page that was requested back. Other application protocols that are used for other application protocols are used for file transfer, electronic mail, and network means. So these are the seven layers: the physical layer, data link layer, then we have the network layer, then we have the transport layer, then we have the session layer, which is followed by which is followed by the presentation layer. Last one, the application layer. So these are the layers of the OSI reference model. So thank you for watching.